Tesla is a company that some people love and some people hate. Some people love the company without even looking at the fundamentals, and they just love the hype and the innovation. Others look at the fundamentals and hate the company. So it's up in the air. There's always a lot of discussion on whether or not it's time to buy Tesla, whether it's time to sell, whether it's time to hold out for a future price, or whether it's time to just jump in today and hold for the long term. So we're going to take a look at Tesla today. We're going to take a look at their fundamentals. We're going to look at how they've been growing year over year. And we're going to talk about a couple of the headlines and why they've been in the news lately. Tesla, of course, is always in the news for different reasons. They are a very innovative company run by a very outgoing CEO, Elon Musk, who is always making headlines and always sharing his opinion with the media through Twitter and other sources, which of course brings headlines every day to the company, puts Tesla out in the news for everyone to see, and really draws attention to the company. Sometimes that attention is good, sometimes it's bad. Some people have the perspective where all attention is good attention, and we're going to take a look at how that's affected Tesla's share price today. So the first thing we're going to take a look at here is just my overall portfolio. We were in the red today at around over 3%, which equates to a little bit over $1,100 loss on the day. Overall, portfolio is still down 16%, around $6,600 in the red. Of course, total portfolio value is at $34,794. So next we're going to jump into Tesla stock and we're talking about the fundamentals, look at a couple different headlines that have been in the news lately. But before we do that, can you please like and subscribe? It really does help my channel grow, and I really do appreciate everyone who takes the quick second to do that. So a couple different headlines and why Tesla has been in the news lately is from some things like this. Elon Musk tweeted out, Tesla's stock price is too high in my opinion. So this came out on May 1st at 11 a.m. So I did make a video when this first came out about the impact this had on the stock price, but we're going to take a quick look at the Tesla stock price once again, just to show anyone who hasn't taken a look at that video. So Tesla's stock price is too high, in my opinion. Everyone has an opinion, everyone's allowed to state their opinion. But when you're the CEO of a company, of a massive company, let me put you at that, who's publicly traded, you aren't really allowed to say anything that impacts the share price. You can't really make statements that you know are going to directly rather increase or decrease Tesla's share price. And of course, this one might not get Elon in trouble because he says it's his opinion and everyone is allowed to state his opinion. Everyone has an opinion. They are allowed to state it whenever they want. And of course, this one did have a dramatic effect on Tesla's stock price. So if we jump over to the Tesla stock chart here, you can see this is the 1 month chart. If we take a look at the time period from Thursday, April 30th to May 1st, Tesla's share price dropped 10% over that time frame. If I could dive into the single day chart, you would see that on May 1st, Tesla's share price lost 10% of value on the day Elon Musk sent that tweet out. And within minutes of that tweeting going out to the world, Tesla's share price dropped a couple basis points within minutes of that tweet going out. Within the first couple hours, Tesla was down 10% on the day. So Tesla's share price was dramatically affected from this tweet, and that's just one of the first headlines that, has brought Tesla back in the news and brought a lot of eyes toward the company. The next one was a little bit more recent. Elon Musk said he could save billions in taxes if Tesla moves its headquarters to Nevada or Texas. So of course, each states have different state income taxes and state business taxes. So if he moved Tesla headquarters, he would save the company billions over the long term in taxes. Because of the difference in tax rates compared to where they are in California right now, they would save the company a lot of money. So Elon Musk sent this tweet out sharing his thoughts on whether or not he was planning to move, and this really brought eyes to Tesla and eyes to a lot of other companies who operate within California to reasons like why are they paying so much in taxes when there are other states where they could get away with paying a lot less in taxes. So this brought up a lot of news and a lot of discussion around should Tesla move its headquarters, and of course, more attention to this company, more attention to the stock, and does bring new investors into the company or take investors out of the company for different reasons. So that was another headline that I want to quickly point out. We're jumping to the third headline before we move on to the actual fundamental analysis of the company and their financials. The third major headline that brought Tesla into the news recently was that Elon Musk stated that Tesla's California plant reopens despite shutdown order. Elon Musk dares county to arrest him. So what essentially happened in brief was that the state of California allowed reopenings of factories, but a local municipality said Elon Musk's factory could not open, and that really angered Elon Musk because the overall state of California opened up different resources and different facilities. So he sent out a tweet right here. If we just scroll down where it says, essentially says, he's going to be on the plant floor with all the other employees. And if anyone was to be arrested, he wished it'd be him. He is the CEO, he is the leader, he is the one making the decision to reopen the plant. So he says if anyone is to be arrested, he demanded that it be himself. So Tesla is restarting production today against Alameda County rules. I will be on the line with everyone else. If anyone is arrested, I ask that it only be me. So of course, Elon Musk is taking the risk, defying the rules right there, reopening the factory. But at least he's making the conscious effort to demand that as the leader, he's the one that takes responsibility for the actions of his company. And if he were to be arrested, if anyone were to be arrested, he demanded that it be himself as the leader of the company, as the one that opened up the facility and brought everyone back to work. So those are some of the headlines that brought Tesla back into the news recently that, brought my attention back to the company and kind of stemmed up this video where I thought I'd take a deeper dive into the company fundamentals and talk whether or not it's time to buy or time to sell Tesla stock. So if we jump into the company fundamentals, we're going to compare quarter to quarter. So Q1 for a lot of car companies, a lot of automotive companies, is usually their slower quarter. There's not a lot of car purchases being made between January, February, March. So of course, we have seen the economic shutdown near the end of March. So you have to take into consideration that maybe the last 2 to 4 weeks of this quarter weren't the busiest for the company. Might have been a little bit slower in revenue growth. Maybe not a lot of people buying new cars at the moment. So that last 2 weeks to 4 weeks may have been a bit slower than what was expected. But we've seen good growth from the company because, of course, I have scanned through the entire thing. I read through the entire thing, but I'm just going to point out some key points to kind of keep this video a bit shorter instead of dragging on going through every part of this entire financial report. So the first thing we're going to take a look at here is, of course, revenues. We'd like to see growth companies who are increasing their revenue year over year, and we like seeing high growth in that revenue. So if you look at quarter to quarter, which is the number that we're not going to focus on too much, this compares Q1 2020 to Q4 2019. So those aren't comparing the same months of the year. Of course, the last 3 months of the year, there's different spending habits than the first 3 months of a year. So this negative 19 or 19% decline quarter over quarter doesn't really impact me too much. The number we really want to focus on here is this last column, which is year over year. So this is Q1 2020 compared to Q1 2019. And if we take a look here, these numbers are in millions. Tesla's year over year growth was 38% in automotive revenues, which is exactly what you want to see from companies like this. They've grown their automotive revenues 38% year over year. So now they're at over 5 billion when it was around 3.7 billion in 2019, which is fantastic to see. Another thing you want to look at here is gross profit. Gross profit grew 75% year over year, which is absolutely incredible. Those numbers are astounding, and that's exactly what you want to see. You want to see these high growth numbers. So of course, those first two numbers, very motivating and make this company very interesting to look at. Next, you want to look at total revenues overall. So selling cars, selling all the different models of their cars, of course, are Tesla's main revenue streams. They do have other small parts of their revenues, which they do generate a little bit here and there. But of course, if you take a look at here, they generate just under $6 billion in total revenue in Q1, and around 5.1 billion of that was automotive revenues. So automotive, of course, makes up the majority of their revenue, but they do generate different streams of revenue into the company. So if we take a look at here, 32% year over year growth in total revenue. Astounding. That's exactly what I like to see. And it's really interesting to see how fast this company can grow revenues and how popular this company is getting. And of course, when Tesla first came out a couple years ago, before they were delivering in mass numbers, whenever you saw a Tesla on the road, you were shocked, you were amazed to look at it. Now, when you go on your everyday life, you see a lot more Teslas on the road. It's becoming more of a normal vehicle. A lot of people are getting into Tesla. They have a lot of trust in the company now. It's no longer a speculative, risky car that you're going to take a risk on. But of course, now that it's out there more, people have more experience with them. They see them more often. They're a little bit more comfortable with the company and the brand and the actual product itself. That you see a lot more of them on the road. And another thing too, we're going to take a look at is net income. If we take a look at here, net income / net loss, of course, because in Q1 2019, the company lost $700 million, right? If we take a look at Q1 2020, they actually saw a profit of $16 million. That's fantastic. Going from a $700 million loss in last year's Q1 compared to actually making a profit in this year's Q1, That's fantastic to see. And that's something very important. You want to invest in companies that are actually generating income and actually being profitable. You don't want these companies to have to continue to issue shares and issue debt in order to generate cash flow to sustain the business. You want them to be profitable. Even though Tesla's main goal right now is to not make a lot of income, they're not paying a dividend. They don't need to distribute any cash to shareholders. They don't need a lot of cash to be in the company. They are funding their innovation. So it is nice to see that they are making a little bit of money right now. Couple other things we want to take a look at here is their production and deliveries. So of course they are selling more cars, which means they must be delivering more cars as well and producing more cars. So if we look at total production, year over year total production grew 9% in the Model S/X. Grew 39% in Model 3/Y, and total production grew 33% year over year, which is fantastic. 33% in production means they're becoming more innovative, they're being more efficient, they're able to grow and they're expanding to produce more cars. More cars they produce allows them to sell more cars and only grow the company moving forward even further. Total deliveries increased 40% year over year, which is again insane. If they're producing more cars, they're generating more revenue, they got to deliver more cars to people, they got to get that wait time down. Of course, in some places in the world, you can order a Tesla and have it the next day. In others, there is still a dramatic wait time for you to receive your vehicle. So we're going to take a look here, another part. We're going to scroll down. Now we're going to take a look at their statement of operations, essentially their income statement. And the one key line I want to point out about their income statement and from their income statement is the earnings per share. Net income per share of common stock. So we take a look at here. Last year, of course, we did see them lose $702 million. But so they had a negative $4.10 a share earnings per share. But if we take a look at this quarter in 2020, we actually saw a positive 9 cents earnings per share in this quarter, which is fantastic to see. And that's one key point and one nice growth for Tesla. The next, we're going to take a look at their balance sheet. If you take a look here, you can see they have nice total assets, and the assets are growing just shy of $29 billion last year on this quarter, and this year their total assets are over $37 billion. So nice growth in assets, along with they did increase their debt, but of course they are a company that is growing rapidly, and having that debt is used to fund their operations and fund their innovation. So I'm actually okay with seeing that debt on their balance sheet right now. They do have enough cash right now to pay off a little bit of their current liabilities. I don't believe they're in any liquidity issues right now. And if we take a look right here, their total current liabilities is around $4 billion, with their cash on hand and current assets at around $8 billion. So they do have enough to pay off their current liabilities. Nothing too worried about right now. I don't believe Tesla is going to go bankrupt. I still believe in the company long term. And for what I believe is going to happen to the company long term is I believe their share price, even though we see this nice rapid growth right here, I believe it's only going to go higher, to be honest with you. In my personal opinion, I believe Tesla is going to continue to grow. They're going to continue to innovate, continue to come out with new products. I think their Cybertruck is going to be a big hit. If it gets mainstream and people do enjoy the product, I think it's going to be a game changer in that industry for them. So I do believe in the company very long term. I am bullish on the stock. Am I bullish on the stock at $790 a share? Maybe not. Would I have been bullish? Of course, around 200. Everyone would. But more realistically, if I can get this stock in the 600s, I would buy as much as I can, in my opinion. That's just for me, though. I have a long-term outlook on the company. I'm not trying to make a quick buck. I don't need to do a swing trade or a day trade on Tesla. I really want to buy the company, hold the stock, not even think about it, and 5-10 years later, have my stock worth 5x, 10x, whatever it may be, because I do believe in the company long term, and I do believe there is not a limit for what they can do, especially with Elon Musk leading the charge. I do believe in him, and I really do like everything he stands for, and I do believe in the company long term. So that's my perspective. Is it time to buy Tesla? Is it time to sell? That is up to you in your own personal perspective and your own personal portfolio. But for me, it's always time to buy. But right now, I would be waiting for a little bit of a dip. There's other investments right now that I believe are cheaper and more efficient, so I would be waiting out for a little bit of dip right now, but that's just me. So I really do appreciate everyone tuning in. This is where I'm going to conclude the video where I talked about Tesla, talked about different headlines, and I do appreciate you tuning in, and I will catch you in the next one.